Hi everybody. Well, it's not a bad day, but a bit cloudy. Really, this is an easy update for me. Uh, well, we're a few months into the military exercise that Putin declared that he was embarking on, called by the Western media as an invasion. In real terms, with the with NATO encroaching, using by proxy the Ukraine, encroaching right on the Russian border with biological laboratories, if you like, right next to the Russian border. Weapons of mass destruction, no doubt, already there. There was a certain inevitability, and after Putin, to 2014, frequently addressed the United Nations, explained to NATO that were this to be happening on the Mexican border, the Canadian border, the Americans would react immediately. So we had a kinetic war, started on the 23rd of February, I think. Prior to that, um, the the sanctions were ramped up. We saw the ruble fly to 148, I think, to the dollar, and the sirens of the New World Order said, "Well, that's it. They're going to go down. The economy will go down. Zelensky and the freedom fighters, NAZIs to be more correct, would win." Well, now we're coming up to May the 9th. Why is May the 9th important? Well, it is the date that Putin put forward that he'd be looking to end the incursion taken by the Russian troops. So what's the state of play now? Well, since April the 1st, when Putin linked the ruble to gold, what he did was effectively, because Russia is a big producer of gold, he told the Russian banks that he would pay, the central bank, not controlled by the cabal, would pay 5,000 rubles for every gram of gold. Thereby, it was a way that the banks could sell the gold. But it sent a warning shot to the cabal, because what you've always got to remember about Russia is that it hasn't messed about in the derivatives market. There is a very low national debt, 247 billion, I think, somewhere around that mark. But it is a commodity-rich country, and what Putin has done through the selling of gas, he says that if you want to buy it, you got to pay rubles. Immediately, the ruble strengthened dramatically. Now we've got a ruble which at times, well, generally speaking, is going down. It's getting stronger and stronger, probably one of the strongest currencies in the world. And during the course of the last few weeks, you've seen the outline now of Russia, of India, of China, of the Shanghai grouping, of the BRICS grouping, of Iran, of OPEC. You can see now how all these countries, because in effect it was Putin that launched the attack on the petrodollar when he signed the 4 billion yuan deal in early February with China. And now they're selling oil. Russia's selling oil for rupees, for yuan. What he's not prepared to sell it for is dollars and any of the other Western currencies. Why? Wow, that whole list of countries, groupings that I mentioned, comes to about 20 countries. Now they're in the process now of having a unified currency. We don't know how it's going to work, but they're going to have a currency. I think they're going to keep their individual currency, but an overarching currency, which I think will be used for trade. And they're going to They're using commodities. They're using oil, they're using wheat, they're using gas, and wood and gold as their basket of commodities. So that will mean that currency immediately will become the strongest in the world. But it poses an enormous problem. The tectonic plates of the world economy are shifting. The cabal and the Western the central banks they control, and they do control all the banks by about 5 or 6. But really, the derivatives market, the financial market, weighs so heavily now on their everyday life that they're not able to see for the woods from the trees in regards to commodities. They're far removed from commodity production. China has become the factory of the world. And in that sense, the yen, the ruble, they have solid bargain. Commodities, as I explained for Russia, and products, consumer products and consumer goods for China. Of course, Putin, he now states that he doesn't want any currencies, and he's put on the table that for any of his currencies, you're going to have to pay rubles. That's for as long as they're on sale for. Because China, if you look at Shanghai, a number of ports are shut down now on the pretext, in inverted commas, of COVID. Therefore, they're not sending out commodities. And they're not going to export again. Why would they export their goods? To have worthless money back. To have fictitious money back. Inflationary, worthless pieces of paper. So, you're going to say, well, does that mean that COVID will last forever? They shut down the ports? No. What will happen is, I believe, that China will invade Taiwan. And the reciprocity of that will be enormous sanctions will be put on China. The West will blunder into that, they'll do it. So that will mean Russia and China have insulated themselves from the dangers of the inflationary currencies. And we are seeing now the financial implosion of the Western central banks. There is no way out for them. The game is over. The New World Order only exists in, if you like, in the name. The control of the New World Order has always rested, the cabal's power has always rested on the issuance of money, credit, of debt. Those days are now over, because what we're seeing now, I mentioned that currency that they're beginning to develop. You're going to see, when we have huge increases in inflation, a stagnation of our economy, a debasing of currencies, and don't let anybody say that is not taking place. The Japanese yen, it's already gone. It's gone. There is no way that it can be saved. As a matter of fact, the currencies in the East will fall first, in my opinion. The won will go. The Japanese yen will go. The euro will go. And then we'll follow the British pound. And then the dollar. Yeah, people say, the dollar, what are you talking about? It's the strongest currency going. It's up to 103, 104 against all the other currencies. Wow. Yeah, against all the other basket currencies, fiat currencies. Against the ruble, you see the true nature of the strength of the dollar. The ruble dictates now. So what's it going to mean? Well, in the short term, we've had the increases all over the world for energy prices. In Britain, it's been a 50% immediate hike up done by Ofgem. Ofgem now, and the Prime Minister, and all these lickspittles of the cabal, their representatives, are now saying in October 40%. Nah, it's not 40%. They're trying to get in front of it. It's going to be way over 40%. They want to make real money now. Look at British. You got the likes of BP and Shell. My God. Any other time in history, there'd be a revolution on the streets. But not yet. They doubled their profits with the overnight increase in the cost of energy in Britain. All of them have. There's no answer by the politicians because they're endorsing it. They're the representatives of the cabal. Doesn't matter, Labour, Tory, Lib Dem. All sides are different coins, but all the coins are owned by the cabal themselves. So we're going to see in the next period, not yet, in the next few months, we're seeing increases, in attacks on our living standards. They're beginning to hit home. But Bloomberg News, they put forward that by the end of June, I think this came out, in February, there'll be an extra, American family of 4 will have to find an extra $430. I tell you what, I think that's conservative. In Britain, it'll be north of £200 by the end of June. And then wait for it. Wait for the debasement of the currencies. The dislocation of world trade. The inability to get commodities out of China, the workshop of the world. Then you're in the beginning of the storm. I'm not defending or explaining the ethics or the morals behind these regimes of Russia and of China. They're in transition. We're going to have to wait till November. In November, I believe Trump will be back in power in the US. It was an accident. On Trump's first day in office, he put up a picture of Stonewall Jackson, Old Hickory. Well, what did Old Hickory do that no other president in US history did? Well, I'll tell you. He strangled the banks, the cabal banks. He shut them down. He nearly paid for it with his life. Nevertheless, he had 100 years of huge expansion where the powerhouse of America was built. Yeah, agreed. 1913. The cabal get control of a national bank. They call it the Fed. They con the American public. And now you have a situation, in just over 110 years, they've been able to turn the powerhouse of the world economy into, a debtor's paradise. Actually, if America was a company, he'd have to shut it down. It's bankrupt. The same with Japan, the same. Britain's coming near to it. You have a massive debasement of currencies, a massive implosion of these currencies, and Trump will come to power. He'll quickly restore the devastation that's been wreaked by the Biden mafia and by the cabal. But he'll do it on the basis of the issuance of money will be in the hands of the people, not in the hands of the cabal. And on the basis of the American Constitution, the most freest democratic constitution on the planet, you will see the ushering in of a new paradigm for the world itself. The iniquities of the CCP, and I'm not including Xi in this, and the iniquities that reside in Russia, and not including Putin, because I believe both these guys are patriots, will be washed away by the developments that will take place in America. We will have 3 great trading blocks. One I've outlined. You're going to have the euro, and then you're going to have the Americas. There'll be the 3 great trading blocks. Where does gold come into play? I would imagine that individual currencies will remain. They'll revert back. The euro is gone. You'll have the lira. You'll have all the old currencies. The peseta will come back. But in relationship to when you want to buy goods, that'll be based. They'll use the model Russia and China are setting forward. Money should be against commodities. Not necessarily gold, because not all countries. Canada hasn't got any gold. Britain's got about 300 tons. You know, it would be, but they do have commodities. They do have skills, and instead of bartering, they'll be able to work out how they'll be able to transfer these commodities. It will take a while. Nevertheless, gone will be the days of taxation. Gone will be inflationary booms and slumps. Sound money will prevail all over the world. Anyway, I've got to go because I can hear my wife calling. We'll carry on with this. It's just the first one I've done, and like everything else, it's out for discussion. Nobody has all the answers, especially someone like myself. But I'm looking to set it forward for discussion. It's a bit bitty. It's jumped all over the place. But it was just off the cuff. I was in the garden having a read, so I thought I'd put this out. Anyway, fellow patriots, take care. Future's ours, and it's coming our way.